Okay, we're now recording. So welcome everybody to back for personal finance. Hopefully you guys are doing all good and getting everything done that you need to. Just so you know, this session is being recorded. Just have to mention that every time. What I want to do first, I want to jump over into the course just so you guys can take a peek. Remember, at the front of the course on the class announcements, I always post the video that will be posted about, within 24 hours of when we had it. So if you need to get caught up or anything on that, feel free just to go in there and look at that. If we go to our class plan, wrong one. Class plan, I just wanted to mention some things that are going to be happening here. Remember, live classes every Monday, and then your exit tickets are due on the Friday. So it gives you some time to get those done. It looks like we have 6 quizzes that need to be done this week. Next week, we will have Thanksgiving break, so we will not be holding a live class, but we will start a live class again on the 29th. And as we head over into December, we just have a couple more live classes until we hit winter break. And after winter break, that gives you a good time to get everything done. The last day of the block is the 7th of January, not December. So things are moving along very fast. So this week, what we'll be doing is modules 7 and 8. So we're going to be talking about paying for college, as well as different financial institutions. So we'll be going over both of those today. Okay, so as we're going through the Nearpod, remember just my virtual expectations. Remember to follow along as you're on the Nearpod. Use the chat tool respectfully, and then also respond to questions the first time. Okay, the lesson objective for today is given a lesson in the OLS. Students will accurately answer multiple choice questions about paying for college and different financial institutions with 80% accuracy across one trial. So let's talk about paying for college and financial institutions. Last class, we talked about the reason why getting some type of vocational or college or certificates are so important in today's society, and basically why you need one as we are getting into this. Basically, our economy is changing quite a bit to where we need more technical skills. So most people are going to be working on the computer. We're going to be, coding a little bit, doing all of that kind of stuff. So we need to make sure that we're, if we want to be financially able to be able to meet those needs of employers. So with that, there is some training that needs to come into place. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about financial aid and how to get that. We're going to be kind of reviewing a little bit of what's called FAFSA. It's Federal Application Student Loan, something or the other. I have the acronym on one of these pages, but it basically, as you apply, it's able to give you possible student loans as well as grants, and grants you don't have to pay back in order to be able to get your education. So first thing we're going to do, watch a little video about this topic.
Hi, my name is Ben, and today we are identifying sources of funding to assist in post-high school education opportunities and the cost of repayment. For many applicants and their families, the most daunting aspect of the journey to college is the price tag. If you're wondering, how am I going to pay for college? You have options. In fact, there is more help available to you than you might realize. These resources are eager to work in partnership with you and your family to ensure that a college education is affordable. The federal government. The U.S. Department of Education awards about $150 billion a year to more than 15 million students through federal grants, to federal student loans, and to employment through the Federal Work-Study Program. Your state government. Similar to the federal government, your home state offers various types of financial aid, and guess what? You might be eligible for this type of aid even if you're not eligible for federal aid. College and universities. Many colleges and universities provide financial aid and scholarships from their own funds, sometimes for a particular field of study. To learn if a school offers this type of financial support, visit the financial aid section of their individual website or contact the school's financial aid office. Now that you know who is available to help you pay for college, it's important to understand what you can do to make college more affordable. Start saving. It's never too early to set funds aside to pay for college, and there are specific government-sponsored saving plans to help you do just that. Apply for financial aid. Financial aid comes in many different forms from a variety of different sources. Start by visiting the Office of Federal Student Aid to learn about the different types of financial aid available to you, like grants, loans, and work study. Then, when you're ready to apply for financial aid, you'll need to complete the free application for federal student aid, or better known as FAFSA. Explore scholarship opportunities. Scholarships are gift money that can help you pay for college. Most scholarships are awarded by individual colleges in recognition of academic performance, athletic ability, a commitment to community service, or other unique talents. You can learn about these opportunities by visiting colleges' admission and financial aid offices or websites. You can also find scholarship opportunities through local, regional, and national nonprofit organizations.
All right, so that went into great detail about how some really good options of how to pay for college, and some ways that it doesn't cost anything. So real quick, what college do you want to go to, and do you know how you're going to pay for college? And I want to kind of change that of not necessarily just college, but basically what kind of training are you going to get and how are you going to pay for that training? So let's hear some of your ideas. All right. Somebody said they're going to go to the U of U. Very cool. Specifically to become a paleontologist. Don't know how I will pay for it though. Okay. So then my next stuff that I'm going to talk about is going to be pretty important. Okay. Somebody said USU and probably have a job. So that's very good. Being able to pay for it. I don't know if you'll be able to pay for all of it for a job because it's quite expensive. So there's going to need to be ways that you supplement your income. Okay. UVU on scholarships. Perfect. MTech, I have the tuition money already saved. Oh, very good. Looks like you're well on your way to doing that. Okay. First, I said Salt Lake Community College, University of Utah, and I'll pay for college by becoming an anesthesiologist tech after getting my associates. I'll continue to. I am currently already saving up for SLIC. Very good. I'm going to go to Davis Tech, but I want to go to Weber State for the dental program. The high school is helping me pay for the first year, but I'll probably have to pay the rest myself. Yeah, so the cool opportunity, if you're 11th or 12th grade, I would really recommend basically get talking to your counselor, because these tech colleges are paid for as you are still in high school. So if you can continue just to stay in high school, you can go to like MTech or Davis Technical College or Ogden Weber or Mountain Land, I think is another one. Oh, Mountain Land's the MTech. So basically all that. I will get an internship with a real estate agent. You pay with time and don't pay money. Okay. Yeah, very good. Like internships are great. Somebody said on the chat, can a 14-year-old get a job? I think most employers have you be at least 16. But I know that home business, like basically if your parents own the business, you can be employed as young as you want, right? But I think most of them are 16. Yep. Okay. All right, let's move on here. Okay, so here's some typical ways that families and students have basically paid for college. Scholarships and grants make up 30% of it. Okay. So that's a big portion, and I will show you how you can get this. Okay. How you can get those scholarships and grants. Friends and relatives pay for some of it. Student borrowing, so student loans, parents borrowing, student income and savings. I believe this is parents pay for it, 32%. Okay. So some people are lucky enough that their parents have started an educational fund for them already. And there's certain different protective aspects that, like, when we talk about banking and stuff, there are educational basically funds that you can put it in that are a little bit help you out. So like I think I have some for my kids, not a lot. I need to do better, I guess. But you may have to use a variety of these things to pay for all of them. Okay, I think we've already talked a little bit about this, but grants you do not have to pay back. And I've done almost every single one of these things, FYI, when I was going through school. So I did get grants from the federal government. Grants are just money that are given that you do not have to pay back, which is fantastic. Scholarships. Okay, I did receive some scholarships as well that I did. There were actually even some semesters that I was able to gain money. So I was actually being paid to go to school, which was kind of nice. Loans. I've taken out some student loans. I would be very careful and use that student loan as a last resort, just because even if you have to go through financial hardship and you file bankruptcy, your student loans never go away from you. So it's kind of a tough thing. Federal work study. This is one that I haven't done, but I know you can work for like a government or something like that, and they'll get you some training and stuff like that. Internships. So I did an internship at the state capitol. So I was an intern for a couple state legislators. And so I actually got paid to do that. Plus I got credit for it in school. So that was kind of cool. Institution tuition waivers. So if you work for the college or you work, if you basically work for the college, they'll like waive your tuition. So that's kind of the way how they get employees up on campus is they waive that tuition if you work for them. Employee benefits. So some benefits, like the employer, basically, if you get your degree, they'll actually reimburse you, or they'll do other things like that. So look at that when you're getting onto an employer that wants to invest into you. And then also veteran benefits. So if you're part of the military, you have your benefits that you're able to claim, where they'll pay for your college as you're going through it. Or that can also extend. So if your parents were military, that also, there's a certain amount that actually will extend to the kids. So that's something that I know that friends that they've taken advantage of it because their parents were previously in the military and veterans. Okay, so let's talk about what's called FAFSA. It's a federal student aid. So what you need to know about this federal student aid, and this is where you can, your senior year, so after October 1st. So who's a senior in here? Do we got any seniors? Okay, so a couple of you. Okay, very good. So you can actually go in and start filing for this FAFSA. And I would do it just to see what they give you, right? So you're going to go into the file. You're going to file, get all the information. You're going to need your parent and you there, because it's going to ask you a lot about your household income, where you live, and your parents are going to have to answer those questions. Okay. The earlier you do it, the better, because there's only so much money that's kind of given away, but there's tons and tons of money, free money, grants. So there was one time, I think my wife and I, after we got married and we claimed away from our parents and we were living on our own, I think we got like $2,500 one time for a semester that we could pay for our tuition. And so that was really nice. That helped us out a lot because we were not making any money at that point in time to go to college. Okay, so this is what it stands for. I could never remember what it is, but it stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So if you just go to www.fafsa.gov, you can look at starting to apply, and this is what it looks like. And really, I think like you can work with your counselor or somebody like that to really get you started. They will give you like a PIN that you need to remember, like so you username, password, and a PIN. Why is it pronounced FAFSA? That's always how I've said it, and how everybody else talks about it. It's just FAFSA. It is kind of weird how it's pronounced. I don't know why they pronounce it like that. But you could get right here, you start a new login. And for those seniors, I would definitely go and do it, because what they do is they do two things. You submit the FAFSA application, you'll do it online, and it could give you, it could give you $5,000 like for grants to go to college. And then you can take that and apply it to the college that you're looking at. Even if you're going to a technical college, you do the same thing. And it will, even if you do not get a grant, usually they always come back with something. What it could be a student loan. And they do have what's called, they have subsidized and unsubsidized student loans. I think it's called a Stanford student loan. And the Stanford student loan, what it is a loan always builds up interest over the life of the loan. Well, the interest is actually paid for on a standard, I think it's Stanford. Anyways, the subsidized one, the government pays for the interest until 6 months after you graduate or stop going to school before it will start gaining interest. So it's basically the money's not getting interest on you. You just wait until you graduate and then you can start paying it back after that. But as I said, student loans, make that your last effort, right? The last dying thing that you need to do prior to that. Okay, we are now going to jump to financial institutions, and we're going to talk a little bit about those. So we're going to start out by watching a little video on it.
Hi, I'm Ezra Hainsworth. Today we'll compare the roles of financial institutions and their services. Institutions such as banks, credit unions, insurance companies, loan agencies, and investment or brokerage firms. A financial institution exists to provide a wide variety of financial services. These include widely used services like deposits and withdrawals, lending and collecting, and investment products, as well as highly specialized services like futures trading and financial modeling. While a majority of financial institutions provide a host of services and accounts for the general public, others focus on specialized services that only have a small number of prospective customers. To know which financial institution is most appropriate in serving a specific need, it is important to understand the differences between the types of institutions and the purposes they serve. The major categories of financial institutions include central banks, retail and commercial banks, internet banks, credit unions, savings and loans associations, investment banks, brokerage firms, insurance companies, and mortgage companies. Central banks. A central bank is a financial institution responsible for the oversight and management of all other banks. In the United States, the central bank is the Federal Reserve Bank, also known as the Fed, which is responsible for the conducting monetary policy, supervision, and regulation of financial institutions. Individual customers do not have direct contact with central bank. Instead, large financial institutions work directly with the Fed to provide products and services to the general public. Retail and commercial banks. Traditionally, retail banks offered products to individual consumers, while commercial banks work directly with businesses. Currently, the majority of large banks offer deposit accounts and lending and limited financial advice to both demographics. Products offered at retail and commercial banks include checkings and savings accounts, certificates of deposit or CDs, personal loans, mortgage loans, credit cards, and business banking accounts. Internet banks. One of the newest entries into the financial institution market is the internet bank, which works in a similar fashion to retail banks. Internet banks offer the same products and services as conventional banks, but they do so through online platforms instead of brick and mortar locations. Credit unions. Credit unions serve a specific demographic per their field of membership, such as teachers or members of the military. While products offered resemble retail bank offerings, credit unions are owned by their members and operate for their benefit. Savings and loan associations. Financial institutions that are mutually held and provide no more than 20% of total lending to businesses fall under the category of savings and loan associations. Individual consumers use savings and loan associations for deposit accounts, personal loans, and mortgage lending. Investment banks and companies. Investment banks do not take deposits. Instead, they help individuals, businesses, and government raise capital through the issuing of securities. Investment companies, more commonly known as mutual fund companies, pool funds from individuals and institutions to provide them access to the broader securities market. Brokerage firms. A brokerage firm assists individuals and institutions in buying and selling securities among available investors. Customers of brokerage firms can trade in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and exchange traded funds or ETFs, among others. Insurance companies. Financial institutions that help individuals transfer risk of loss are known as insurance companies. Individuals and businesses use insurance companies to protect against financial loss due to death, disability, accidents, property damage, and other misfortunes. Mortgage companies. Financial institutions that originate or fund mortgage loans are mortgage companies. While most mortgage companies serve the individual consumer market, some specialize in lending options for commercial real estate only.
So that gives a brief overview of financial institutions. So what I want you to do is I want you to, for those that are on the Nearpod, be able to draw on the board the differences between bank that you put on this side. Let me just go to student view so you can see it a little bit better. So you're going to use these tools at the bottom here. You can either type or put pictures, but the differences between the bank and the credit union. And then after you're done, you can hit submit right here. So differences between banks and credit unions, or at least what you know. All right, looks like some of you are writing on there. Awesome. Okay, while you're right, I'm going to check in on some of those real quick. So somebody said profit and nonprofit. Okay, that's not necessarily true, but there is a difference between the way that they're owned. Okay, so banks can be publicly traded companies. So companies like Apple or Amazon or Tesla, they are traded on the market. So they have what's called shareholders, and people buy into them because they think they're going to grow bigger and make money, and they want to make money on their investments. While the credit union's owned by members. So for example, one of the places I bank is America First Credit Union, and I'm a member there, so they don't have shareholders. They're not publicly traded. They're owned by their members. So I think that's what you kind of meant there. But so a nonprofit organization, what that would mean is they don't make any profit at all. Credit unions are definitely making profit, and there's a reason for them. But I kind of like credit unions a little bit better, in my opinion, just because of that fact that there's not like a shareholder that they're trying to basically look after. Okay, let's see what some other people put. Lower fees and better interest rates. I've noticed that there's not a lot of many fees at a credit union there are a bank. So can be trade owned by its members. No shareholders. Okay. Good. Okay, banks are for-profit. Credit unions is a not necessarily non-profit. They want to make money. Believe me, they want to make money. Okay, a lot of profit, non-for-profit. So they have to pay taxes. But yeah, banks are focused more on making money and stuff like that. Really, they're just kind of the same, except kind of for their ownership. So here's some banks or whatever, or financial institution you may have seen around, like Far West Bank, First Security, Sun First Bank, U.S. Bank, Zions Bank, State Bank of Southern Utah, Heritage Bank. Zions Bank, Am Bank, Central Bank, Bonneville Bank, and so forth. Here's a little bit of difference of like when you get in. This is the very basics. We're going to go a little bit more into kind of investing and stuff like that and protecting your assets. But like a checking account, there's usually a monthly fee. Now, credit unions, they don't really have that fee. Okay, so that's something that's kind of cool. Minimum daily balance, interest, overdraft protection, ATM fees, internet banking, online bill pay, others. So that's what you can get from checking. Savings, they have a minimum opening balance. There's interest. So that's one thing why people want to put your money in banks is you do gain a little bit of money by it sitting there, even though it may be like only a couple cents. But the more money you have, the more interest you gain on a monthly basis. And then you get to write checks, ATM fees at banks, ATM fees at other banks, and so forth. So, okay, so that is just a brief overview. We will be going into more of that kind of stuff, but that is the end that we have today that we'll be going over. Remember what this week is modules 7 and 8. So you need to watch the videos and take it. Now, I do want to make a distinction here. Even though it says video 15 and quiz 17, video 17 doesn't go up with video 17. It's 15 and that it's in the correct order. Okay. So I know some people have had confusion about that, but it is in the correct order. So right here, video 22 goes with quiz 20 and so forth. Okay, well, contact me if you have any questions. I'll be sticking around for any additional questions or anything else you need. But I'm going to stop the recording and then help anybody out that needs it.